Hey, everybody. I know you're all expecting Emma and Moriarty, but Moriarty had to go to a black tie affair, so I dressed up in my bling just for you. So, hope you all had a great Christmas and ready for a happy new year. But before you do that, tonight we got a special friend to be on the call tonight. Amanda Smicklas is here from Tucson, Arizona. Amanda's been coming to DE for about 10 years. She's been in practice for 22 years. She graduated from Palmer, Florida, got two beautiful daughters, and she's just rocking it and represents the West Coast or the western part of the United States very well. But before we introduce Amanda, I just want to remind you, DE, January 29th to the February 1st. The book, the room block ends January 15th. So don't wait now. Just sign up and get in today. Okay, today, not tomorrow. TNT. Let's do it before the new year. How's that sound? And again, make sure you're joining your teams. The teams are an important part of what happens between the connect group, between each DE. Be with each other. Share your celebrations. If you have any questions, make sure you ask your teams, okay? But let's get on to our speaker tonight. Again, from Tucson, Arizona. Let's give it up for Amanda Smicklas. Love you, girl. Go.
Well, thank you for that introduction, Andy, and hello, everyone. I'm super excited to be tonight's principal chiropractor presenter. In fact, I'm super grateful to be the last presenter of 2025. I want to spend this time sharing my experience of being a DE chiropractor and in hopes that it resonates with and inspires our viewers. Because listening to all of you guys over the years has really made a huge difference for me. So I appreciate the opportunity. So I knew when I was 8 years old that I wanted to be a chiropractor. I was sledding at the local reservoir in Lima, Ohio, a really small town in Ohio, with my little brother, Neil, who is now 6'3" and a grown man. And we were out snow sledding, which is pretty much the only thing in Ohio you can do on snow days, and having a great time. And I remember the last run down the hill, my sled came up from underneath me and I went flying and I rolled the rest of the way down the hill on my neck. And you guys, immediately I knew something was wrong. Something really bad had just happened. So by the time I gathered everything and got into the car and driving home, I could barely move my neck and everything hurt so bad. And I remember being at home and my parents questioning, what do we do? Where do we take her? Oh, you can't hear me? Do you guys hear me? But I remember being at home and my parents were just concerned. They don't know where to take me. My grandmother said, take her to the chiropractor. So that's what we did. We went to the local chiropractor, and I remember being terrified and thinking, oh my gosh, the last thing I need right now is for somebody to yank my neck, and it's going to hurt so bad. But I remember sitting in the treatment room, and this beautiful woman walked in, and she was so great with me and gracious and loving. And she really took her time to explain, like, this is what's going on with you. This is how I can help. So I remember after her first adjustment, like feeling immediate relief and feeling so much better. And I sat up on the table, and right in front of me was the nervous system poster that I have in my office right now, which reminds me of being called and why I do what I do. And from that moment on, I knew that I was called to be a chiropractor. So fast forward, after high school, I went to the Ohio State University for my undergraduate work. I have a bachelor's degree, and then I went to Palmer, actually in Davenport, Iowa, for my doctorate. And if you guys haven't been to the Quad Cities or Davenport, I highly recommend just a quick trip to go check out BJ Palmer's house. It's filled with all kinds of eccentric things from his travels all over the world. And I promise you, it's worth the trip just to understand a little bit more of where BJ Palmer was coming from. So after graduation in 2002, I ended up moving to Detroit, Michigan, and I practiced there for several years. And luckily, well, I'm sure it was all in God's plan, but I worked with several DE chiropractors that had went to life, practiced principled chiropractic. They had large practices. I learned how to do high volume. I learned how to love and serve at a level that I hadn't learned in college. So super grateful for that opportunity. And during my time in Detroit, I actually met my children's father at a stoplight in 2003 and ended up dating him for a few years. And then in 2005, on my birthday, he called me while I was at work practicing seeing patients and asked me if I wanted to move to Mexico for his job opportunity. And, you know, young, didn't really want to stay in Detroit for much longer. I said yes. So I ended up moving to Mexico and living there and had a huge wedding and all my favorite people, my best friend Jeff and my best friend Jessica in Chicago, and all my favorite people came down. So I'm super grateful for those years that I got to travel and learn Spanish. And after living in Mexico, I really didn't want to move back to the Midwest. I love the Midwest, but the weather here is amazing, you guys. It's sunny all the time. Sun is just feeds my soul. So we ended up moving to Tucson, and I knew I wanted to start small. All I had was a portable table, a lifetimer table, and an activator. And so I answered an ad on Craigslist, of all places. It was a massage therapist here in town who was looking for other practitioners to add to her office. And so I met her, and it was perfect to start for the first few months because she was looking for someone to just pay like for the time I was there. So that's how I started. And unfortunately, or fortunately for me, right, she had lots of different practitioners, acupuncturists, other massage therapists, people that did facials. But one particular gentleman didn't care for me to be there. He was a hypnotist. And if you know about portable drop tables, right, it makes a lot of noise. And not only that, just my personality makes a lot of noise, my laugh and how I talk to people. So that didn't last long. And right away, I found the office space that I'm currently in. But luckily, the neighbor next door to the first place I started was also a chiropractor. So I met with him after a few weeks of gaining the courage, like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm new to Tucson and I need a chiropractor. So Dr. Joe Waldschmidt was amazing. He was probably in his 60s at the time and wasn't upset with me for being there, just really encouraged me like, hey, the town needs more chiropractors. I would love to take care of you. So he did twice a week for a long time after living in another country that didn't have any other chiropractors. My low back was in desperate need of some love. So since he was so close, I went to see him often. And during that time, I really wanted to be a mom. I'd been married for several years. That was always a goal for me, is to start a family. And it wasn't happening. It was frustrating. And that's really all that I could focus on at the time, is like, I just really want to be a mama. So he helped me after a period of time. I got pregnant with Marley. Marley is a chiropractic baby. So I loved bringing her into Dr. Joe's office and in her carrier, and I would sit her up on the desk with his wife, Cindy, who was his chiropractic assistant. And then I would go back and I would get adjusted, have him check me. I would come out and I would grab my baby. And on the way out the door, I would announce to everyone in the waiting room that Dr. Joe helped me get pregnant. And then I would just smile, tell him I love him, and walk out the door. So it was really fun. He got to educate a lot of his patients on how chiropractic isn't just about pain relief, it's about function and how the body works. So 18 months later, I got pregnant with Abigail. Abigail is my youngest little girl, and Abigail came into the world a blue baby. She had a congenital heart defect, and we spent a few months in the NICU and PICU before she was able to have heart surgeries. She had an extra aortic arch that wrapped around her esophagus, and every time I tried to feed her, she would stop breathing. So it was terrifying having an Abigail. But I got to tell you, that time really helped forge my love for nurses and God and see miracles. And also, DE helped me get through that time by realizing that Abigail was better off without subluxations and had a better quality life without because of it. So one thing I love about Abigail is that she really opened my eyes to the special needs world and how much they need chiropractic, and not just to remove subluxations, but just to love them and listen and let them know that there's hope, and we see how stressful it is, and that we understand. So God gave me Abigail for a whole other reason, and I am a better chiropractor and human being because of her. So DE has also taught me how to build a busy office. We are a cash practice, and I've been a cash practice since we opened in 2009. My time in Michigan working as an associate doctor really helped me realize that insurance is not fun. It's not something that I wanted to deal with, and that there is a way to have a pay at time of service practice. So that's what we do. My hours are amazing for a mom and a business owner. I am in the office on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Also Saturday morning for a few hours, but during the week, I drop my kids off at school. I make sure they get on the bus. And then by the time they get home, I am home with them. So it really is a beautiful balance. And if any of you chiropractic mamas have questions, please reach out to me. I've tried all kinds of different schedules over the years, and this certainly has been the best for all of us. So another thing that I love about Dynamic Essentials is are the other doctors that you meet while you're there, and how generous they are with knowledge, with answering your questions. A few years ago, Andy Harding came out to Southern Arizona to visit his daughter, who was stationed here. And I went and picked him up and brought him to my favorite hiking spot. And he was so generous with answering all kinds of questions. I had questions. I was recently out of a marriage. I had unfortunately had to get a divorce, and basically starting over. So I had so many questions like, Andy, what do I do about this? What about this? I'm on my own and I'm trying to figure all this out. So all the way up and down my favorite mountain, Andy Harding loved me and shared with me any questions that I had. So I appreciate that. And because of that experience, the girls and I now live in a beautiful, safe, gated golf community where my oldest daughter, Marley, is a member, and she golfs all the time, and she's thriving and she loves it. And fingers crossed we get a scholarship opportunity out of it. And then Abigail, we live close to her favorite park. I'm able to walk her to her park, and she swings and she laughs and she giggles, and it makes my mommy heart so happy and grateful that Andy helped set us up for this amazing life that I love. Another thing that you guys helped me do was focus so much on the principle and goals and visualizing what I wanted my practice to look like. So since my first DE 10 years ago, I've tripled the number of patients I see a week, and my price is now double what it was when I first started. So I can't thank you enough for making that possible. And not only for myself, but for my children and my staff and everyone I get to serve. It makes a difference. So I want to share an amazing story that happened in my office several weeks ago. I've been seeing a lady for maintenance care for several years, and I know she just comes in once a month. She wants to stay well. She exercises, eats well, like super healthy, understands chiropractic. But one day I got a message from her. She's like, "Hey, I need to ask you something. I just went to a neurologist and they diagnosed me with trigeminal neuralgia, and they immediately started her on a drug." And I was like, she's like, "Amanda, do you think you can help me? Is this something chiropractic can help with?" And I was like, "Absolutely. Get in here. We need to do an exam. We need to talk about your history, like what's changed since I saw you last." So she did. She came in that week and talked to her, did an exam, and like, what's different? What's happened in the last few weeks that could have caused these horrible headaches and pain on just the left side? And and she's like, she thought and she sat. She's like, "You know what? I got a new mouth guard, a new night guard for sleeping." And I was like, "Well, that's probably a lot of it." So during the exam, we noticed how bad her left atlas was out of alignment. I'm like, "Katie, I'm sure that we're going to be able to help you." So she came in. She followed my recommendation several times a week. And at this point, I just heard from her, and she is tapering off of the drugs. She's feeling much, much better. She's relieved. She didn't want to be on drugs forever. She knew that chiropractic gets to the cause of the problem and not just covers up the symptoms. So I'm super grateful. And you know, my 23-year career has been filled with so many stories like that. And same in your guys' office, that what is really humbling is that knowing we move the bone, but God does the healing. So when you know where the healing comes from, God sends the people. And what makes us different is our ability to listen to our patients innately and hold space for them. And so grateful to be called into a profession just like you guys, where we get to put our hands on people and watch the healing. So D.D. Palmer, who discovered chiropractic in 1895, said, "As long as I have these two hands and they are sick people to get well, I will use them." And I love that quote, and I love being in the meeting and hearing Dr. Awais say that over and over and louder, because it just stirs my soul, and it reminds me of why we do what we do, and that we're vessels, hollow vessels, and the healing comes through us. So grateful for all the speakers that have poured into our lives. So I want to end by saying thank you for all of my DE brothers and sisters for pouring into us over the years. And no doubt, not only my life has improved, but my entire community. Everyone I've got to serve has gotten a different Dr. Amanda because of you guys. So on Sunday, our pastor Chris preached a sermon called "The Extraordinary Church." He shared that God is looking for a church who embodies the great commandments: love God and love people. I believe this is what makes chiropractic extraordinary as well. In closing, as BJ Palmer said, and I've witnessed over the last 23 years, get the big idea and all else follows. I love and appreciate you guys, and I'll see you at our next meeting.
love God, and love people. That pretty much sums it up, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Um, I want to make sure everybody hears what she said. She tripled her practice numbers, tripled your visits, and your prices. Did you say your prices are double what they used to be?
Well, how I started. Yes.
So, I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, DE is where people give it away, give it away, give it away," and you know what? You tripled your numbers and doubled the costs. So people come, they pay, and they stay, and they refer
Yes.
because of your energy and your love by loving people, and that sums it up. That's 100%. That's great.
People will come when I'm there, right? I
Yeah.
build a practice around my family, around my priorities, and they'll come. If they love you and they see the results, they're coming.
And they love you because you love them.
Yes.
That
Yes.
that's
And
that
they feel a higher power. They know.
Yeah. And again, like you said, I've been in your practice. I've been in your clinic. I've seen the people. The vibration is awesome. You've created a wonderful thing out there. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you for everything you've done for me.
Oh, back at you, kid. Hey, everybody, this was a great one. Hope you just go back and listen to it. There's some nuggets in there that'll help you. And again, we're gonna see y'all next year because we ain't gonna have another one of these till next year, right?
Woo.
Happy New Year to you, dear, and Happy New Year, everybody out there. Have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Love you, Amanda. Thank you.
Love you too, Andy.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Mhm.